Hey, it's Daddy Steve. Please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon. Please click on subscribe. 100% free. Well, blood in, blood out. And click on notifications. This is just my future plans for the channel. Most people over, too many years now know me as a gamer. I still play those games, namely Deck Heroes. I think one was Warship Commanders and another one was Rise of Kingdoms, but there's others as well. I will still do occasional games videos, but say my background is I've got a master's degree in economics and a 2-1 in psychology. So, and just with a bit of spare time as a hobby, I don't get paid for this. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it literally as a hobby. And as an older man, just with a little bit of perspective, just doing a few videos. So that was it. So I'm doing a few reviews videos, especially when the videos I'm reviewing just put out assertions and there's no foundations to it. You know what I mean? And gosh, man, somebody just needs to step in and just give a little bit of content. So I guess maybe that's got to be me. You know what I mean? I talk about subjects that I know. I talk about my own life experience, really, in terms of dating. I was clubbing when I was in my mid-teens. I've been clubbing in my early years, 4 times a week. Like literally for years and years. And then there's uni, and then there's your late mid-20s or whatever, late early 20s. And I've always been sociable, you know what I mean? And I think there's guys of a certain kind of caliber and look, whatever you want to phrase it, and they've got more advice and more experience about these types of things to kind of impart on others. And there's times when I struggled myself, basically, until I was early 20s. As I said in a different video, there's times I didn't really date much until my early 20s because I didn't know how to relate to ladies, the etiquette. And sometimes when I watch these videos about guys who also struggle or struggled in love, and they're putting it all down to ladies, and sometimes it is, especially that toxicity that we talk about, because it's accurate. But with a male brain, I'm just thinking, well, why are you going for those girls? Well, why don't you just look for girls elsewhere? Maybe they're not in the clubs, maybe they're not in the bars, and there's lots of places to meet people, so you just got to meet them there, and maybe you got to move. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about being a passport bro necessarily, but I'm just making the point that if your ladies aren't where you're at in the extreme and you're certain, then maybe you got to look elsewhere, and that may be online, if nothing extreme necessarily, or just different spaces. I said that may well be social clubs, or ultimately may well be abroad. I mean, I'm in a multicultural city of London where there's people from all around the world, and it tends to be those positive, uply mobile, kind of good foundations. Not always, of course, not always, but people who are at the right end of their career in terms of dating potential. And it's obviously going to be the same in other major cities. I'm not saying that's going to be for everybody, but we know this is a numbers game, and you got to play the odds. So if you want to be in a small town and that suits lifestyle or choices and that, then you got to accept the outcomes as well. You know what I mean? So if there's a very small talent pool for you and it ain't working for you and you don't do anything about it, then we can't complain. That is what you've chosen for yourself as a man. Or you need to be making plans going forward about how you're going to move beyond that, even if it's in the short term, in order to further your career and find your lady, and bring that, hopefully find somebody who wants to settle back in a quieter environment. But as I say, plenty of people find it quiet or not quiet, but it's just the numbers game. There's going to be less numbers and less probability if you're already struggling. Why things would change if nothing changes. Anyway, so going back to my experience and why I'm kind of doing these videos and where I want to go. I definitely want to keep on doing reviews videos. Some of those videos inspire me, but I do have a lot to say, and I am mindful that I don't want to talk over the video, but also I don't want points to get beyond, especially if those points is based on inferences. Like I said, I've done a few videos recently where people, I think, talk about correlations, like there's causation, and there's not. You know what I mean? Just because it rains when I put my shoes on. I put my shoes on and it rained the last 2 days. Does that something to mean there's a connective leak and a link? You know what I mean? And I know that's a silly example, but You know what I mean? Other people use equivalent silly examples to talk facts, and those facts have kind of real life consequences. But really, what I'm saying is, a lot of people put videos out there. I'm not going to mention them, but they've got videos with no foundation. I just wanted to change that up. But also, yeah, I think dating is a very core element of any man's kind of key motivations. As I say, I struggled, and I look at the reasons why I struggled, and there wasn't YouTube videos and dating coaches in those days. But I got to I've always been an academic basically, and I got to my very early 20s, maybe even just turned 20 or something like that. I was trying to think where I was in my life, and I read, was it there? It's called The Player's Guide. It's called The Player's Guide, and that's all about that 3-second rule. I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if he originated that 3-second rule thing. And I think there's like a 2-page A4 document that I copied and pasted offline. Maybe I'll have to think. I'm thinking back, and that gave me a few clues and insights which were very useful. And I've uploaded a few videos from the people that I've seen online who actually know what they're talking about, and they're more solutions focused, again, for people to move their lives forwards in terms of these key variables that we want. And for every man, or most men, it's not a conversation about isolation or people encouraging you to kind of withdraw from the markets. It's about looking at that market objectively and finding where you need to fit into it. Again, maybe you need to move, maybe you need to go online, maybe you need to join social clubs with people with similar interests. Maybe you meet them out and about. Maybe you meet them in the work, even though I don't recommend kind of work kind of approaches. I just haven't done it. Don't do it. Because if it goes wrong, you may well be out the door. All that kind of stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, listen, I'm not an apologist type of channel. That's really not going to help you. And it's definitely not where I'm coming from. I'm not getting paid for this. You know what I mean? And so hopefully people take my advice for what it is, which is coming from the right place as an experienced man, and hopefully I've got something to add, and I guess time will tell. But anyway, so in terms of my own kind of dating career, I read that Player's Guide. I learned about the 3-second rule, and that was key for me. And as I say, was it Coach Kyle that I did a video on talking about just approaching people? I wasn't approaching anybody. You know, at best, I needed somebody to give me kind of eye contact, and generally speaking, I did very well with ladies anyway in terms of attention, but I didn't know how to structure a conversation. I wasn't used to talking to ladies, and say even if they gave me eye contact, I think I went as far as eye contact and a smile, but I wouldn't necessarily go over. And it's these kind of, I was a beta basically. But I don't want to use those kind of silly keywords. I was just a man who wasn't sociable enough to sustain anything, because I never put myself in that situation. And truth be known, even if I did, I could talk about things, but not in a kind of interesting, engaging way. And I say Coach Cole does give some kind of clues about openness and things like that. I haven't seen it. Listen, he's got a million videos on there. I've only seen like 4. But in terms of like, and I'm sure he does have them, other things you can try and talk about with a lady, which is going to express an interest in her and get that rapport and a little bit of flirtiness. I haven't seen his flirtiness video yet, but I know he's definitely got one out there. That type of stuff would have really benefited me back in the day. But the thing that really benefited me, and if there's any advice I wanted to give to anybody watching this video, yeah, Coach Kyle, watch my videos because I will give lots of insights. But what happened for me was, one of my peers, one of my friends, I just watched how he spoke to ladies, and it was just a normal conversation, just on a level, and just observing him and not thinking I've got to jump through barriers and put myself under pressure, because what does pressure make you do? Kind of makes you retreat, right? And it builds it up bigger in your mind and all this stuff, and have a conversation, but also be an interesting person. You know what I mean? So, gosh, man, as I said, I've heard people talk just complete nonsense when they're trying to chat somebody up, and they're drawn into the bad advice of trying to entertain a lady in a conversation, and she's really not interested. All this kind of laugh somebody into bed, all that kind of stuff, I guess is possible, but really, if that's the goal, it's about just showing her the kind of attention, and the most interesting conversation you're ever going to have is about her, to her. And the objective going into it was to try and entertain her and get her on side, so you can, have future kind of meetups and just see what happens, whether it's kind of long-term vision or short. That's what we want to get to. And as men with natural inclinations and stuff like that, I'm not going to get into the old grey thing. That's not me. So that's obviously we're going to relate to. But anyway, there's that. So just know where you're coming from, and if you are very lucky to meet a lady who actually wants to have a two-way conversation and reciprocate, and things things flow naturally, then obviously those are the ones which are probably going to be your girlfriends. It's just that they don't realize it. So we've got to listen. We can only control what we're in control of, and that is, as I said, just being attentive and smart. I'll turn this into a dating video now, more so than channel vision, not to be confused with tunnel vision. Yeah, so obviously a smile, nice natural approach, and good eye contact, and being tactile, and you know what I mean, as just being genuinely interested in this person that you're speaking to, and being able to expand the conversation and sustain it, and throw in some kind of jokes which are kind of, I say, not the jokes at the back of your mind where you're thinking, okay, I don't know how she's going to take this, but she's going to think I'm a bit of a lad and a bit of a laugh for saying that. She ain't going to think that. She's going to think you're an idiot. And to be honest, if you're insulting somebody you've just met, then you probably are. Women can get away with that, men cannot. Very quick conversation. Listen, I wasn't even, was out yesterday with one of my mates, and the lady was kept making the point that she had said a few insulting things, to be honest, but one of them was that I wasn't very talkative, but there's a reason why I'm not talkative, you know what I mean? Because if I don't want to talk, basically, she couldn't see the line. And she didn't say it in the most respectful, and she kept on saying it. And sometimes you just got to let it go. But who knows if she was trying to flirt with me in a certain way. Maybe she was, maybe she will never know. But as a man, you can't go down that route. Unless you're very, very experienced and tactile, you know what I mean? And you got to know what you're doing. So say if you say, I think Carl was saying something like, I like the type of girl who does this, so you're not directly complimenting her. And she may well think, is he talking about me or not? You know what I mean? Which is a little bit rude for the girl that you're trying to chat up and impress, really. You're playing this kind of word games with her on some kind of level. But that's the safe zone, which is acceptable. But as I say, it's not about us being centre stage. It's about them being centre stage when you're trying to chat them up. And over time, there'll be more balance, and you can express your kind of truer, more broader personality when she's ready to take it on. But you do that at your peril early on. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to do more videos on kind of lifestyle things and dating, because as I say, I'm a man of a certain amount of years, and I definitely have a lot of insights and ideas on things which go beyond just putting out assertions without any kind of foundation. But I've also got a master's degree and qualifications in politics as well, so I may well touch on some kind of economic or financial advice, and maybe we'll kind of gear that into other things that I touch on. But I'm also interested in social dynamics and a bit of trash TV, so I'm thinking about doing some kind of reviews of some popular TV series. Just watching Monsters right now, which is definitely out of my comfort zone and not what I'm generally interested in. But I'm through episode 1. I may well do a review at key stages, just summarising characters and plot development and interesting things and maybe some faults or that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I like these kind of like kind of debate type, kind of analysis type videos with a little bit kind of deeper thought. But also I'm gonna, beyond all, so that's one of my plans. But also I do like these videos, and I've got a lot of positive feedback, which, you know, feed and give feedback, genuine feedback from an older, experienced man of some standing, in my point of view, educated man anyway, on the life problems as they've presented it, and kind of relating it to other known kind of clues that they give in the course of that video beyond the narrative, and relating it to my own experience as a man in the West. You know what I mean? And just trying to be constructive and positive, but also honest. You know what I mean? So if somebody's kind of needs that kind of clear direction, then I'm more than happy to give it, and I will try and give it in the most respectful way. And that's one of the key things I wanted to get from this video. I think all as men, and I'm not talking to the snowflakes, and there's not many out there, and I know it's an emotive thing to say, but I think in our core, we just want to know the truth beyond the bullshit, don't we? You know what I mean? So I'm definitely about that, but in a respectful way. If I do a reviews video, just FYI, then as I say, if I don't think that I'm adding something to it, and somebody sent me a comment that he didn't think I was adding anything to a video. I think he was a fanboy for that video, and that's fine. That means I'm not for you on this channel. There's plenty more, and just, you know what I mean? We've got too much. Our lives are too short to waste on channels wasting our time. You know what I mean? So best of luck to him genuinely wherever he is, and I try to be respectful, but I'm not here to have angst. You know what I mean? I know they're not watching me to have angst, and I don't need to have the angst from them as well. It's just best of luck, man, honestly, and the best of kindest hearts, just on your way. But yeah, long story short, I probably will do a few say reviews, videos. And also what I'm thinking is I've got this debate now, or this kind of dilemma, sorry, where, as I say, there are some people talking on this male kind of and masculinity and lifestyle topic who have got nothing to add, and they draw in inferences based on nothing at all, which is very dangerous, which is not where I'm going to go. So I was kind of thinking to do videos where just kind of, I'm not looking to expose them as such, but you know, just going to call it out for what it is, and people can either agree or they don't, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not looking for I'm not looking to convince anybody of anything. It's just my point of view, and point of views of while we're out here, it makes life interesting, this part. So that's it. I think that might be it. If so, what I might just throw in an accent, man, just for the sake of it, man. That's what that does. That's what that does. If anybody's got any suggestions about topics and all the other kind of really interesting videos, kind of meaty videos to get into in terms of an analysis, then let me know. There is a talk show that kind of gets people calling in, and some of those calls are kind of mildly interesting. I've got a video coming out actually. I think it's tomorrow. Definitely next week anyway, and it's a copyrighted thing where I've got permission to put things forwards, and I'm aware of the rules on YouTube about copyright and things like that, in case anybody's worried. One of those videos is next week, and again, he's more than happy for it to be uploaded. And that's an interesting and say deeper dive into somebody's relationship, not because I've lived that experience necessarily directly, but just as an older man's perspective. In fact, that video was about a woman who cheated on her husband, and she's trying to debate or, you know, contemplate whether she should just basically upfront and tell him. And it goes, you know, a little bit zigzag along that path towards the end, and it's kind of interesting in between. But that host, I do suspect, I don't know, you'll see the host if you watch the video, I think he might have a psychological background as well, just from the types of questions he was asking and the conclusions that he reached, you know what I mean, and the foundations that led to those conclusions. Basically a smart man. And it's easier for me to do a video with people who are kind of life intelligent, but they haven't got the structure of academia behind them, you know what I mean? So it has the foundations, and I say, if I slip into that, I apologize in advance, but I will try to be mindful of it. And again, I'm not going to agree with everybody, and that's okay. Anyway, have a good day, enjoy your week, I'll see you in the next video. That is Steve, and I am out.